So I was browsing Pinterest as one does when they're wasting time, and I saw this picture of this mossy sweater, and I knew I needed to make one. We need to gather some materials and let's make a mossy sweater. Okay, we've arrived at the first thrift store where I will hopefully find a perfect sweater to put moss all over. There are a few things that I am looking for this sweater for this project. And it can be a sweater or a cardigan. I am willing to work with either. So I want it to be a natural fiber, hopefully wool is what I'm really looking for, but just something natural which will help me attach the moss to it when I'm needle felting especially. I also would like it to be a knit that isn't too open of a weave. I want it to be a fairly tight knit. And I also want it to be a neutral color like white or tan or brown, something natural. And I think that's it. My only other goal is to not spend too much money on other things at the thrift store. Someone was just pulling into the spot next to me. Hi. Okay, let's go shopping. Okay, so I ended up getting the two cheaper sweaters because I think I want to unravel it a little from the bottom to make it cropped and also maybe make the edges a bit uneven. So if it goes horribly wrong on the first one, then I can try on the second one as well. I also grabbed that Olfa mat, amazing deal, and I got this vintage looking tennis racket or badminton racket maybe? Tennis racket. I'm gonna hang it on my wall. I think it's gonna look cool. Okay, off to Michael's to grab a few more supplies. Okay, we are back with our two sweaters here. So I have this one that was only $4.99 and it is a sort of cable knit on the top and then has plain knit on the bottom there. And then this one is a full cable knit all the way through. So I think I'm gonna start with this full cable knit one. And then if I royally screw it up, I'll move over to this one. I actually would wear this one like normally, so it's not a loss. I can just wear it. But yeah, let's start with this sweater as our base. Now, I have all kinds of materials. I've got my yarn. These are two of the Patons Canadiana. One is the dark green tea color and the other is the cherished green color. So I have those two. I have a whole bunch of different colors of embroidery floss. This is all just DMC floss, and I just grabbed a variety of mossy colors, some lighter, some darker, ones that just looked kind of natural. And then I have my whole bin, here of felt in all my greens and a few yellows and stuff that I have. So I have a large variety of colors that I will get to play with there. So let's talk about the techniques we will be using to put moss onto this sweater. I'm using 3 embroidery techniques, and these can be used for either the embroidery thread or the yarn. You just need a different needle for each one. The first technique is French knots. Secure your thread and bring it from the back to the front. Then wrap your thread around your needle 3 to 4 times and bring your needle through just to the side of the thread hole, and keeping tension on the wrapped thread, pull through. There's definitely more to this technique if you want super perfect looking knots, but this is moss, so it doesn't have to be perfect. The second technique, I genuinely don't know what it's called, but it makes these wonderful little twisty clumps of thread. Your yarn or thread has to be multi-plied or made up of multiple smaller threads twisted together. Secure your thread and then bring it from the back to the front. Then begin twisting the thread in the opposite direction of its original twist. You can remove your needle for this part to make it easier, but you just keep on twisting until it starts to bunch up. You can play around with how it bunches and how much you twist it, and then just reattach your needle and secure it in the back. The third technique, I've seen it be referred to as turkey work stitch. To begin, bring your needle from front to back, leaving a short tail on the front. Then work a small right to left stitch along the bottom of the tail to secure it. Then come up just to the right of that stitch and bring it back down next to the tail, pull through, leaving a loop. Then work another small right to left stitch to secure the end. And repeat until you get a nice little cluster. Then the scary but fun part, snip the loops and then trim to your liking to create a nice little tufted area. Now, as for needle felting, I'm going to do a lot of playing around and experimenting, but I will be doing a base of just flat felted wool so that I can have spaces where it's easier to do the embroidery work, since my knit sweater isn't like a super tight knit. I'll also be using this technique where I ball up small pieces of wool in my fingers and then attach them to give this textured pattern. And of course, there will be a lot of color mixing of wools to add variety and depth. Let's make this sweater. And that's me wearing my moss sweater in the woods. Look at its glorious mossiness. I hope you enjoyed watching the process as much as I enjoyed doing it. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Dano Does Things so I can keep doing weird and wonderful things. Thanks for watching. I am off to become one with the forest.